Do you like delicious and refreshing smoothies when it's hot outside? Because it's pretty hot outside right now. It's like 100 degrees where I'm at. I know I do, and today I'm going to be doing just that. So I'm going to show you guys how to make these. Let's head over to the kitchen and get started. Also, I went to the grocery store yesterday and I found this on the tropical fruit stand that's about this big at my grocery store. And I've never had a dragon fruit before, so I figured we'd try to use it, put it on as a topping. But I know that the inside of these are sometimes either red or white, and I guess if it was red on the inside it probably would have said red dragon fruit. But if I had to guess, this one's probably white on the inside. But I've never had one before, and the best way that people normally describe this is a cross between a kiwi and a pear, or a kiwi and a watermelon. So we'll have to taste test this together and see how that goes. I also want to note that if you pick one of these up, do not eat the skin off of it. You want to just eat the white inside or red inside, because apparently the skin is somewhat poisonous and it will probably cause discomfort or other issues that we don't want to discuss on camera. Also, I wanted to point out that in this video we are going to be using blenders and opening them and pushing stuff down in the blender. So be extremely careful when you're using a blender. Use common sense. You don't want to chop your finger off making a smoothie bowl. You want to be able to enjoy your smoothie without fingers in it. So, without further ado, let's go over a few safety precautions first before actually making this. Alright, so before we get started on this, you are going to need some form of longer utensil. It could be a spoon, it could be one of these things. I think this is called a, you know what, I don't know what this is called, but I'm going to use this. So pretty much what we're going to do is run our blender with just frozen fruit in it without adding too much liquid. Now what that's going to do is ensure that this smoothie bowl is pretty thick, and the reason that I like to do that is because if the smoothie bowl isn't pretty thick, by the time you get done putting all your toppings on it, it's going to melt and just be a soup at the bottom. So the technique is pretty much put your frozen fruit in a blender, blend it up, add a splash of milk, and let that run as long as it will go as it sticks to the sides. And then as needed, you're going to use one of these or a long spoon of some sort to push the fruit down. And then finally, it might take a minute, but it'll finally come together and start spinning around in the blender and almost turn it into like a thick smoothie. And that's what you're shooting for. Then you can pull the blade out of your blender after you unplug it and turn it off, and remove it from the machine itself. Be very careful whenever you're messing with the blender, and especially if you're sticking your hand in it. So we're going to do that, and I'll show you guys how to do that right now. Alright, so what I like to do first is cut up all of my fruit that I'm going to be using as a topping so my smoothie bowl doesn't melt after I create it, and I can just go ahead and make it. Look at that cross section of the dragon fruit. That thing's pretty cool. So we're going to cut our dragon fruit in half first, and then you're going to take a spoon, kind of like an avocado, and get that nice center out of it, leaving the peel behind. Then we're going to take it and slice it into not extremely thin slices, but relatively thin. Next we're going to take our fuzzy boy, aka a kiwi, and then cut the ends off. Same process with a spoon, remove the skin, and then dice it. Next I'm just going to be quartering some strawberries after cutting the end off. The beauty of a smoothie bowl is that you can use any fruits for topping that you want. You can use pineapple, banana, anything that you like. So here's my plate of fruit. I also cut up a banana. A pro tip, if you like a little bit more crunch, is to put a little bit of your granola in the bottom before you pour your smoothie bowl in. That way you have some down below. So first I'm going to be adding a banana to our blender for our blue smoothie bowl. You really want to use lighter color fruit here, and a splash of milk. Then I'm just going to pulse this a little bit and kind of break those bananas down, and then I'm going to let the blade run for a few seconds until it sticks to the sides. Remove your lid, scrape it down with this thing, and then we're going to add the secret ingredient, blue spirulina. This is how you get a blue smoothie bowl. You can find this on Amazon. I'll actually leave a link down below if you guys want to use the kind that I do. I will say that if you're using another brand of spirulina than the one that I'm using here, it might be a little bit lighter in color, so you might have to use 2 full scoops. Here I just went with about 1.5 scoops just to make sure I got that really nice light blue color after mixing it with this banana and milk. So I'm just going to pulse that, then turn it on until it turns into a nice creamy blue, light blue color. So you want to be sure that this is thoroughly mixed together, ensuring that that spirulina is mixed throughout, and then we can get our bowl ready and pour this into our bowl. So as you can see, it's a nice vibrant light blue color, which is going to contrast nicely with our strawberries and banana and other fruits that we're putting on top of this. Before you put your toppings on, it is a great idea to kind of level out the top with a spoon. You can just run it back and forth across the top and kind of flatten it out. This will help the toppings lay evenly and prevent things from falling down. So as you can see here, I did end up dicing half of a banana and setting that in my bowl. Now I'm just placing one slice of dragon fruit up there, and then on the far right I'm going to be adding my quartered strawberries. You could stop there, but I like to add a little bit of coconut flakes right beside my bananas, and then I'm going to add in a pinch more of granola to the top. Alright guys, let's taste test this thing. Oh yeah. 10 out of 10 for sure. It's got a nice creamy banana flavor. And the dragon fruit, by the way, has a very distinctive flavor. It does definitely remind me of a kiwi in a way, but it's got its own sweetness to it and it makes it a little bit different. I really like it. It's got like a very distinct texture as well. It's not quite like a kiwi, but it definitely reminds me of it with the seeds in it. Coconut flakes on this, out of this world. Alright, so for our green bowl we're going to be adding in our frozen bananas for our base, and then a handful of kale. This will crush easily in your hand if it's frozen, and it's super easy to just add this in. Then we're going in with a splash of milk just like last time, and I'm also throwing in a thick slice of my kiwi into my blender before I blend it up. I will say this wasn't frozen, but it'll work. So I'm going to pulse that a little bit, then we're going to scrape down the sides as we did in the last one, and then just mix this until it's thoroughly combined. Alright, so I didn't film me putting the toppings on this because I didn't want it to melt, but I did add a little bit of dragon fruit and kiwi. As you can see, this smoothie bowl gets a nice light green color with a little bit of dark green flakes in it from the kale. And the kale, you can't even taste it in here. I know some people don't like it because it's bitter, but it wasn't even noticeable with the banana flavor and the flavor from the kiwi. Alright guys, and that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like down below. It only takes 1 second. And while you're down there, you might as well comment something that you want to see me cook, because I'll probably do it if you leave it in the comments. I like to know what you guys want me to cook. So if you leave something down there, I'll more than likely cook it. Also, while you're over there by the comments and the like button, if you would, turn on that notification bell if you want to be notified anytime that I make a new post. My goal is to get this channel to 100 subscribers as soon as possible. That's our next goal. We'll probably do some sort of big video or some special event once we get there. So if you want to be a part of that, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.